The multimedia enclosure can be stud mounted, surface mounted, or freestanding with the floor stand kit. When installing the enclosure, it's recommended that you have the following equipment. We recommend installing support bars between the studs. Cut each to the appropriate length and drill holes in the appropriate locations to align with the cable knockouts on the enclosure. An additional hole is also recommended for easy removal later in the installation process. Fasten the bottom support bar at the desired height. It is important to install the support bars with the screws on the inside. Measure out the distance for the top support bar and fasten it with the screws on the inside for later removal as well. Now we can route our wiring to where the multimedia enclosure will reside. Measure and take note of the distance from the ground to the center of the framing. Once the drywall is installed, measure out the distance that we previously took note of and start cutting the drywall from this location. The framing will allow you to easily cut the appropriate hole for the enclosure. Remove the cutout portion of the drywall and check to ensure proper fitting of the enclosure. If the enclosure is too snug, remove it and trim the excess drywall for a better fit. The enclosure should sit on top of the drywall with minimal to no exposed openings. Remove the top and bottom support bars. Be sure to not damage any cable and or fiber that was routed before drywall. Remove the necessary knockouts on the top and bottom of the enclosure and attach any accessories at this time. Route any cable through the knockouts. Be sure to follow proper cable specified bend radius. Place the enclosure knockout side first into the drywall opening. Fasten the enclosure to the drywall using the provided hardware. When painting the drywall after installation of the enclosure, cut out the base paint shield outline on the shipping carton and place it on the inside of the enclosure to prevent any contamination. Attach the frame to the enclosure using the provided hardware. Finish up by attaching the door to the frame. For a recessed stud-mounted installation where there is existing drywall, it will be necessary to use the cutout template that's printed on the shipping carton. Apply the template to the area you wish to mount the enclosure and trace around it on the wall. Cut and remove the drywall along the lines created. Cut and remove any insulation located in the drywall opening. This is essential for the enclosure to be mounted flush to the drywall. Place the enclosure knockout side first into the drywall opening. Fasten the enclosure to the drywall. Attach the frame to the enclosure using the provided hardware. Finish up by attaching the door to the frame. For a surface mounting installation, place the base into position and secure it to the drywall. We suggest using wall anchors when surface mounting the enclosure to ensure mounted stability. Attach the frame to the enclosure using the provided hardware, and attach the door to the frame. When installing using a floor stand kit, secure the base part to the bottom of the enclosure with the 3 screws provided. A 15 by 15 enclosure is capable of freestanding, but it is recommended to secure it or anything larger to a wall. Attach the frame to the enclosure using the provided hardware. And attach the door to the frame. To install a power outlet, simply remove the proper knockout and fasten the outlet into place. Power outlets should be installed before installing the enclosure and wired before mounting the drywall. Attach the outlet faceplate. To install a cam lock, cut around the knockout area and remove it. Place the lock into position and secure it to the enclosure door. The latch will get installed the same way. Cut around the knockout area and remove. Then slide the latch into place.